In today's fast-paced and competitive world, self-confidence isn't just a quality, it's a survival skill. So many people have talent, knowledge, and passion, yet they fall behind because they lack belief in themselves. One tiny thought, what if I fail, can paralyze us. And with the constant comparisons brought by social media, it becomes easy to lose faith in our own abilities. But self-confidence is not about being perfect. It's about showing up even when you're scared. It's about taking one more step, even when you don't know what's ahead. And sometimes the most powerful stories of courage and self-belief come not from humans, but from nature. This is the story of one small bird who proved that even in the face of the fiercest storms, the strength of your heart matters more than the size of your wings. High on the tallest branch of an old mango tree, in the middle of a dense forest, a little bird had built her nest. It wasn't a grand nest, but it was built with care, warmth, and love. She lived there with her mate and their two young chicks, tender and fragile, just learning to open their eyes to the world. Every morning before the sun even rose, the little bird would wake up. She would clean the nest, feed the chicks, tuck them under her wings, and then set off in search of food. She worked tirelessly, flying back and forth, even when her wings felt heavy. Nearby, other forest dwellers watched her. A crow on one branch, a heron near the pond, and a wise old tortoise by the water. The crow would often mock her. "Why do you work so hard? One storm and all this effort will be gone." The heron, tall and proud, would look down and say, "She's too small to survive a real disaster." Only the tortoise, quiet and patient, would smile and say, "You'll see. Real strength isn't in the body, but in the heart." Despite their words, the little bird never responded with anger or fear. She believed in her purpose. She believed in her wings, her instincts, and above all, her responsibility. She didn't wait for recognition. She kept working, loving, and protecting. One afternoon, the sky darkened unusually fast. The winds picked up, and an eerie silence fell over the forest. Birds started flying back early. Leaves rustled in panic. The crow shouted, "A terrible storm is coming." The heron flapped away toward the riverside. Even the tortoise began digging himself into the earth for shelter. The little bird, however, remained calm. Her chicks clung to her, wide-eyed. They chirped, "Will we fly away in the wind, Mama?" She wrapped them close and whispered, "Don't be afraid. I am here. I will protect you." Then came the storm. The winds howled like angry wolves. Trees bent and swayed. Branches cracked. Rain slammed against the forest like bullets. Lightning lit the sky in terrifying flashes. The crow hid in a hollow. The heron took shelter beneath the riverside rocks. The tortoise stayed deep inside the ground. But the little bird, she remained in her nest. She could have flown away. She could have hidden somewhere safer, but she didn't. She sat with her wings wide, shielding her chicks. Her tiny body shook in the wind, but her resolve was unshakable. Her heart whispered, "You cannot leave. They need you. If you don't protect them, who will?" All night she held her wings firm against the storm. Her feathers were soaked. Her body ached. She was exhausted, yet she didn't move. Sometimes the wind almost lifted her away. Sometimes the nest tilted. But she kept whispering to herself, "I will not give up. I must survive. For them." By dawn, the storm had passed. The sun slowly rose, lighting the forest with golden rays. The destruction was everywhere. Many nests were blown away. Branches were broken. Leaves scattered the ground. But on the topmost branch, One nest still stood, intact, and inside it, the little bird held her two chicks, still alive, warm, and safe. The crow returned and stared in disbelief. The heron landed, stunned. The tortoise crawled out of his shelter, smiling gently. The crow came forward and said, "I doubted you. I thought you were too small, too fragile. But you taught me something." The heron nodded. "You didn't run away. You stayed when it mattered. Now I understand. Self-confidence doesn't come from strength, but from responsibility." The tortoise chuckled. "Didn't I say? Real power's in the soul, not in the wings." From that day forward, the little bird became a symbol of strength in the forest. She hadn't done anything extraordinary. No magic, no miracles. She had simply believed in herself, stayed with her loved ones, and acted from love, not fear. Young birds began to look up to her. Animals spoke of her courage, and yet she remained humble. She still rose with the sun, still fed her chicks, still flew long hours to gather food. Nothing had changed in her, but everything had changed around her. This is not just the story of a bird. It is the story of us all. All of us have storms in our lives, doubts, fears, failures. All of us have voices around us saying, "You can't, you're not enough, you will fail." And we may feel small, tired, or lost. But if a little bird can survive the fiercest storm with nothing but love and belief, then so can we. Self-confidence doesn't mean shouting loudly. It means standing silently when everything wants to knock you down. It means whispering to yourself in the middle of chaos, "I will not give up. I am enough. I will make it through." What we learn from this story: self-confidence is not about being fearless. It's about choosing to act despite fear. You don't have to be big or strong. You just have to be brave. Responsibility can give birth to inner strength. What others think about you doesn't define you. What you believe about yourself does. Every storm is an opportunity, not to prove others wrong, but to prove yourself right. So the next time life shakes your nest, remember the little bird. You may not control the storm, but you can choose to spread your wings and stay.